The goal for today is to take an early part of Moshe's experience with judo and see how that shaped his thinking with the Feldenkrais lesson, and particularly with FI, because everybody has a unique pattern of movement that they do. It really lends itself to the one-on-one work, the hands-on thing, more than it does to an ATM. The idea behind this is going all the way back to when he was in Palestine working, and there was friction between the Jews and the Palestinians. And in the Arab culture, it was okay to have a knife or a sword. It was part of your dress. So the British allowed that. And what was happening is a lot of Jewish men, young men, were getting stabbed when they were having conflicts. So Moshe thought, we have to do something. We have to learn how to defend ourselves against a knife attack or a sword attack. So what he did is he came up with a way to do that, a self-defense technique, and it was pretty ingenious how he came about it. He had somebody taking pictures, and they like would sneak a fake attack on somebody to see what their spontaneous movement would be. And most of the people did this, right? You're kind of flexing to protect yourself, but then you're raising your, right? You're raising your hand to protect your head. Moshe thought that if he built a system, a technique around the first spontaneous movement that people did, would have a better chance of remembering it and using it if they were attacked. And that was the first move of the technique, was to raise the hand, but then take a block the arm with the knife, move around, and put the arm in a lock. He had several different ways of doing that that you could probably see on YouTube. There's people like Multi Navi who demonstrate the technique and may have put that online. The way this carries over to the Feldenkrais method is looking at how somebody spontaneously moves and how they move the easiest. Kind of like the knife attack. You start with that and you build on it. Well, what we can do with F5, we can start with how somebody spontaneous movement, what they do, how they tend to create something, and we can start with that, refining that, and then we can start to bring that and move that into other directions. Okay, so let's see how we'll do that in FI. Let's see. Yeah, we can move that up. Okay, so Bobbie, because you're here, you're gonna be my demo person. We're just gonna move this out.
What do you want me to do?
You're just gonna stand right in front of the computer.
Okay.
Could you take that off just for a second? What we're gonna do is look at Bobbie.
You know what?
Yeah,
Okay,
because that we can't really see anything through the jacket, but this is fine. Okay, she's all in black.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I
Um,
forgot. I didn't know you were going to film, so.
yeah, that's okay. All right. You guys aren't going to be able to see much, but that's all right. I'm just going to let you know what I'm seeing. If you look at Bobbie's hand, Bobbie, let your hands hang by your side. Okay, if you look at her hands, you can see one hand's lower than the other hand. And you can kind of see her shoulders and her face and her head. And what I'm looking is I can see that one side's longer than the other side. So just by looking at how Bobbie is, I'm going to kind of guess how she would move easiest. Okay. Try to keep out of the way. Yeah, so it's kind of, if I notice here, she doesn't really want to go to tilting to the left, and she tilts to the right pretty easily.
Tom, if it works for you, you might try it from the back.
Yep, I should be able to do this from the back too. So we can, and from the back, I can see more wrinkles here. So from the back, I could, and that's a good idea to go in the front and to go in the back, because what I'm noticing is there's just a tiny bit, there's a little side bending, and then there's a tiny bit of rotating backwards. So that's Bobbie's natural tendency, her natural movement, and it's based on the way that we're using ourselves. So the way that Bobbie was using herself today, that is the most available thing there.
Would you repeat that again? Which way am I going?
Yeah, yeah. So what we're looking is if I go like this, there's a little bit. If I go like this, and I can see that she's sinking into her right leg. If I go to the other side, she can find that, but not quite as easily. And because Bobbie's done so many Feldenkrais, her movement to both sides is much, much better than most people. So if you have somebody who's not experienced with this method, you'll notice it'll be real easy for them to go one way, not so easy for them to go to the other way. But with Bobbie, these things are already kind of available. I can feel a difference between the two, but the other side's a little bit available too. And that's just all the Feldenkrais stuff that she's been doing. Questions? No? Okay.
That was helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, and just kind of play around. You're just going to have somebody stand, and we've done this before. You're just going to have somebody stand, and you're just going to see which way they move easiest. And the wrinkles will kind of tell you. We'll do this. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you can see the wrinkles here, right? You can see one side shorter and you can
Yes.
see a bunch of wrinkle stuff going here. So Bobbie, just kind of move me around a little bit. Yeah, and see, she's moving in a way to make the wrinkles bigger. And you can see I'm falling into that easily. Try to take me the other way. Not as available, right? Because I'm organized to go this way. Yeah, you can feel the difference, right, Bobbie?
Right. And I was wondering if you'd go either forward.
I can, but it's not as natural. Can you feel the difference? Now just bring me down. You see how that happens easy? Now move me forward and back. It's not as easy, is it?
Right.
The quality of movement is different, and the quality of movement is not as good. So that's what we're looking for, is that easy quality of movement where the person just falls into that position very easily, and you don't have to put any more effort or anything into it. But I can feel the difference. When she took me in other directions, the quality of movement wasn't there because I was organized to go this way. And for her to take me the other way, she's fighting the way that I organized myself in that moment. Is that making a little more sense to people?
Yes, that makes sense. Nice.
Okay. So the next step, what we can do is we can put Bobbie on the table and see if the same thing applies or something different applies. So yeah, Bobbie, you can just lie on the table. Oh, good. I'm glad you remembered, Cal. I didn't. And we'll start with nothing under the knees or the head because we just want to see how she's lying. Okay. So what I'm seeing, and I'm going to move this so you guys can see it more, is the part of her that deviates the most from the table is this leg right here. Now, Bobbie, do you have problems with that left leg?
Yeah, that's the leg it's more the outer.
Okay. All right. So because, and that's why we want to ask that question, because I don't not necessarily want to start with the leg that she's having a problem with. So what I may do is think, okay, well, maybe we can start and we can do something with the upper body and then bring the movement of the upper body into the legs and then see how we can organize and tie all that stuff together. Now, if this leg was fine and not a problem, and she said, no, this leg's good, then this could be an interesting place to start. But because that leg has been a source of injury, we're gonna we're gonna work toward it instead of starting with it. And that's basic Feldenkrais stuff. So now I'm just interested because we're going to work with the upper part of Bobbie and see if we can tie it into the legs. I'm just interested in which way she moves the easiest. Okay, because she's in black, it's going to be hard for you to see. But what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing is by lifting this shoulder up, she's already organizing to move in this direction. If I do the same thing, now this is also somewhat available to Bobbie here on this side, and there's a little movement this way, but, and maybe you can see her weight shifting, but there's more movement this way. Okay, so now that I found something to work with, we can play with and yeah, it may be interesting. We could play with the idea is we can make a guess and see if it's true. So according to this little bit that I did, I would guess that if Bobbie was going to roll to her side, she would roll to the left. And that would be easier for her than rolling to the right. Okay, so Bobbie, without even listening, paying attention to what I said, just roll a tiny bit toward one side. Yeah, yeah. There you go, and roll a tiny bit toward the other side. And you can, hopefully you can see it, you may not, but what I'm seeing, go ahead, go toward the left again. I'm just seeing there's more of Bobbie moving and organizing to the rolling on this side than there is toward Bobbie, rolling toward the right side. Okay. Good. So now what we're thinking, okay, how can we make this movement a little nicer, and how can we see if we can get this movement to go all the way through? So one thing I'm thinking about, what's happening through the upper part of Bobbie. And then as the one shoulder blade comes off the floor and rolls, what can the other shoulder blade do? So what I'm noticing, as this shoulder comes up and moves over, this shoulder's not really doing anything. It's not joining in, it's not being generous. It's just kind of holding in place. So I'm thinking, well, maybe we can use the arm, if we connect the arm to the head, maybe that's the way that we can, because the shoulder's between the hand and the head, and maybe this is a good way that we can get this part of Bobbie to become more involved. Hey, Patty. You guys, let me get out of the way. But what I'm seeing now, there's more movement in Bobbie's head. There's more movement between the upper ribs. Bobbie's left shoulder is now, excuse me, moving a little bit more toward the ground.
Can you narrate, Tom, a little as you're going?
What I'm thinking now is it possible to, by lengthening the arm, to see if I can get a little bit more movement of the arm connecting with the scapula and the shoulder blade. There we go. And if you look at Bobbie's head, now you can see we have that connection. So we have the little simple movement of bringing the right shoulder blade forward and just noticing what's not happening. And what we notice is that the movement wasn't really going through to the left shoulder as well. And that's why I added those two things to help the left shoulder, the left arm to get more integrated with the rest of Bobbie. And then hopefully what we're doing is, right, and now I can feel it. Now I can feel how the left shoulder blade is moving with the rest of Bobbie. Now, just because this month is creating choices theme. The other choice I had, if I didn't want to do the things that I did, what I could do was because Bobbie's shoulder was holding, is I can hold the shoulder and then I can just do this movement, just holding that left shoulder.
Hold the left and lift the right.
Yeah, yeah. So, not only can you move what moves, right? This right part of Bobbie was moving. You could also stop what stops. So if this left shoulder was stopping, I can just stop that more. And now this movement, by keeping the left shoulder in place here, I'm differentiating around the left shoulder blade. And now you can see it. Now you can see Bobbie's weight really shifting over. And we're thinking,
Softness in the chest.
yeah, softening in the chest that allows her the weight to shift and
Turn
roll
the
over.
head.
But we're thinking about what part of Bobbie's going to the table. And can we, right? Because the tricky thing is the ribs.
Mhm.
So we can use the table to help work with the ribs, right? And if I'm not sure what's going on with the ribs, we have the movement, what we're doing, which is sliding the shoulder blade forward, but then I can listen with my other hand. And now I can feel it. I can feel the connection here. And how when part of Bobbie lifts, the other part of her goes into the table. And I can also feel there's shortening on the right side, and she's getting a little length on the left side. Give Bobbie a little bit of a break. So already we see this diagonal pattern starting to happen. So the next question, because we were interested in seeing if we can connect all of Bobbie with this movement. So is it going to the pelvis? Is the diagonal movement of the shoulder going toward the opposite hip?
I saw it going almost to her knee.
That's something that we can look. Yeah, and I can see that there's movement in the hip joint there. And yes, Patty said there's a little movement in there. Now
Where's
we have,
there, Tom? When you say there's movement in there, where are you saying what's there?
yeah, movement in this hip and then going down toward the knee.
Most of her left side is lengthening, at least down to the knee, not quite to the foot.
And it kind of makes sense because what's happening is as the shoulder blades
Not
lifting, we'll see if we can look at the whole pattern.
Sliding downward, shortening on the right, shortening on the left, lengthening on the right.
Right. So there's shortening on the side here, lengthening here, as Patty said, but this side of Bobbie is going to the table. And this side of Bobbie is lifting away from the table, which means that all of this is pushing into the hip, lengthening the one leg long, and then we'll see if the other leg starts to shorten or not.
Thanks.
Other thing that we can do is we had what Arlen taught us, right? Working just kind of in front of the shoulder joint this way on this. And seeing if I can just there. Now I feel like I have more of the rib cage now and I can really feel the ribs. Because that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the lower ribs on Bobbie's left going toward the table.
So are you pushing down on the right and pulling up on the left? Or pushing down?
I'm rolling like this.
Yeah, I can see what's happening
This
on the
hand
right.
and this hand's going more like
That's what I thought,
this.
okay.
So yeah, I'm thinking one side of Bobbie's folding. And I can see the wrinkles getting bigger, so I know I'm in a good direction. And then the other side of Bobbie's length. Okay, and because we have choices, let's say for whatever reason, Bobbie, it wasn't comfortable for Bobbie or it wasn't working for you, you know, we also have an arm that we can use as a lever. I'm just kind of, there we go. So we're finding that same thing. So we're just using the arm to move the shoulder blade a little
Rotating
bit.
it to connect to the shoulder blade,
And now just finding that full length.
and then
now.
outward to lengthen. You can see her chest moving right and a little bit to the left.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do have choices in how we do these things and how we make these things work. Going back to this. Okay. So now that we have a little bit established with the hip, and we can do this a few different ways, right? We had the Arlen that she taught us above the femur.
Do you want to say what it is, since I wasn't there for Arlene? I don't know if anyone else who watched who wasn't with Arlene.
I'll have to show you on the skeleton because it's hard to see.
So you're pressing up on the left and
I'm
down.
trying to find that diagonal, yeah. I'm moving my right hand toward her right shoulder and just trying to move the pelvis in that way.
You can see your rib
joints.
cage moving a little to
Yeah.
the right.
And again, you know, sometimes the hip joint's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have a choice and we and also just kind of find this movement from Bobbie's leg. And then staying with easy. So the easy thing for Bobbie. There we go.
Is to rotate
Yeah.
outward and up
So it's
into the hip socket and the rib cage.
so it's an internal rotation
And the
and
shoulder.
a gentle pushing into the hip socket.
And the head.
And then we'll see.
And then going outward rotation, pulling it away.
Let's see if we can get the opposite. I'm finding something around the ankle.
The cuboid?
I'm on the
Or the
cuboid and then I'm on the lateral part of the ankle. So we're just trying to get that going. And then there we go. And now
Yes.
there we go. Now we're trying to get this diagonal line going this way.
Now you can see it going across her body to her right shoulder.
Yeah. Back here. And then now we can see.
Right shoulder blade is a little flatter.
On the floor, yeah, but we can see this movement and this pattern going through Bobbie in a really nice way. Oh, that's why your head's all moving funny. She has a big bun on the back of her head. Yeah, maybe more comfortable for you. Okay. All right, so we kind of did half of you, Bobbie, right?
Yeah.
So see what it's like to roll a little to your left. Okay, cool. And now what we could do the second half of this lesson with Bobbie as an ATM. So do it again. Notice what your shoulder is doing as you roll. Can you feel this shortening and can you feel your weight shifting toward the table?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah, Patty, you can put your hands there so she can feel it. Do it one more time, Bobbie. Yeah, and you can feel her rib cages.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. So help Bobbie find the floor. Okay, then come back. All right, now let's see what you do on the other side. Okay, so do it once, turning to the left. You can feel this coming forward and this is shortening. Pause. Wait and see what she does first, Patty. Look toward the right. Okay, so how can this lift? How can that shorten? Okay, good. Now you can help with that. Or you feel how you can use this shoulder blade? Okay, here, come back.
Notice what you're doing on the right and see if you can do it on the left.
Yeah, turn to the left again. You see how that gets engaged and goes and the arm rolls right from the beginning. Do you do the same thing here?
No.
No.
Now I'm doing it.
Okay, and how can this arm roll? Okay, come back. Come back, come back. Go back to here.
Look left. And notice how you use your rib cage and your
Okay.
shoulder.
There you go. Okay, so slowly go this way. Good. Now feel how the stop. So what you're going to pay attention to is as you go to your left, you're really using your ribs on this side really good to help you turn. See if you can find that same way of going. Yeah, you feel how you're into the table and you can feel that table and you can roll into the table.
Yes. Let's try it to right.
Yeah, see what you can do. Right, there you go. Okay. So one thing that we could do that Jeff did to help her find the table. Okay, go to the left. Right, so you're rolling here. Right, now hold this position. You see how you can hold yourself there? Good, now lower yourself slowly. Good. So you're kind of resisting me as you lower. Okay, one more time up. There you go. So you can feel that, right? Don't let me move you. So you can, okay. Now I'm going to push you a little, but you control yourself down slowly. Control down slowly. Down slowly. Slowly. Beautiful. Okay, now come to the right side. Good. Find that part. Yeah, don't lift her too much, Penny.
I just
Okay,
wondered if
hold
you
yourself
put some
here.
focus in your pelvis as well. And then go back.
Right now, she's really thinking about this
Rib
part
cage.
and finding the floor. Okay. Okay, now control the movement back down slowly. There you go. Let's do that one more time. So you're gonna roll. Good. Hold that. Resist. Good. Control back slowly. So now she's learning how to engage and how to use these muscles on this side around her ribs to help create the movement. Okay, now see what it's like to roll to your left and roll to your right. Yeah, let's see if you can find the left side as well.
There you go.
Okay,
Now she's using more of her pelvis and
Yeah.
her ribs.
yeah, beautiful. Okay, now we're gonna do one more thing. We're just gonna pay attention to what your legs do because you're finding your pelvis and moving your pelvis. Your legs are kind of echoing the movement.
Mhm.
So go to your left. Yeah, now feel what this left leg can do. How can the left leg find the floor to help? And what can the right leg do to help the left leg? Go to the left again. Yeah, do you need to lift that one? Or go to the left.
Rotate.
Yeah, can you feel how you can, how this, if your leg goes with the movement of your pelvis? Okay, go. And you feel this leg can move too.
Notice, are you lengthening or shortening one leg or the other?
And right now we
I'm
just,
likening the right leg.
yeah. Okay, good. Now see what you can do on the right side. See if you can find, think about finding the floor. Pelvis moves, which leg turns. Matter of fact, let's do this. Okay. Turn to the left with your pelvis. Good. Come back. Turn to the left with the pelvis. There you go. You feel how your legs go with the pelvis? One more time. Okay, now turn to the right with your pelvis. There you go. That leg gets longer and you feel how these legs can move and support and go with your pelvis. There you go. Yep.
That's right.
There you go. Now you're finding it.
Down on one side. There you go.
Okay. All right, stop and rest, Bobbie. So we can go back to our little test movement. I'm just interested in seeing, if both these things are available to Bobbie. Um, Now, if you're going to roll completely to your side, almost like you were going to get up, how would you do that? Start to the left.
Can't do this.
No, don't lift that leg, and you can do that.
Okay.
So learn what you did here. Good. Now learn how you can bend your knees and how can you roll and use your pelvis. There you go. Okay, now come back slowly the same way. Slowly control it, don't fall. When do your legs start lengthening? Try it again to the left. That's it. Good. How are you going to use your pelvis? How can you use the legs? And so now rather than having to push yourself up with your leg and keep yourself flat as a board, now you can feel how you can engage all these different parts of you and differentiate these different parts of you. Go this way. Let's see how you go to the right. Roll over that right hip. There you go. And now you got a new choice. Now you have a new way of doing something. And what you can even do is you can think about reaching over and Look at that. You can just reach over one arm and just pull yourself to your side.
Yeah, so it's,
Yeah, and then swing your legs off the table and get up.
you know,
Yeah, we're gonna just have you stand for a moment.
I'm more on my feet.
Yeah, so Bobbie's more on her heels. Come a little toward me so these guys can see you. I'm gonna move to the back. And we found that this was easy for Bobbie before. So she has that, but she also has this. And she also has this. And she also has this. So now that idea of a chore that you can go in any direction with equal ease. And we'll put her to the test. Shift your weight on one foot. Good. Shift on the other foot. Okay. Turn quick, walk toward me.
Turn quick.
Yeah, turn, come toward me. There you go. Come back to center. Turn and go toward Mel. Can you do each one as easily?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Can you make the other way as easy? Okay. What you can do is, let's move this.
It's like doing the cha-cha.
Take a step forward. Yeah, do the cha-cha, or what you can do is you can step forward with one foot. Good. Step forward with the other. Now go back.
I'll go back.
Yeah. Okay. So if you wanted to turn quick and just head toward the mirror, how would you do that?
Well, you wouldn't want to see how I did that back there.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching. So just go toward the mirror. Quick. Okay, good. Stop. Now you're going to come back toward the computer, but you're going to turn the other direction, the other way. There you go. Does it feel like each side's more available to you?
Yes.
That you don't really need to think about it, that you could do either one that you want, instantaneous, spontaneously.
Okay.